Tiger Anime Gao Gao Nippon special.
God damn it.
Process of becoming a voice actor, and that is my audition. Send it off to
everywhere. No, I'm deleting that portion of it. We're never using it again.
It'd be better if I was a cute girl.
Yeah, it would be perfectly if you were a cute girl, because you could get away with that.
I'm cute, aren't I? I'm super cute.
No.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. It's been a while for you.
Yeah, for me, technically.
Everyone, if you haven't guessed, Jay is finally back from the wondrous land of Japan. The place we all dream to one day go, because we're a bunch of huge nerds.
Yeah. If you're a nerd, you will like Japan.
Oh, God, yes. But anyways, I guess we'll start off with our usual stuff. My name is Arash.
I'm Jay.
And welcome to Tiger Anime, sinking our teeth into everything that is anime and manga. And we'll go off into our usual stuff and going off in our past weeks, starting off with mine. Nothing. Nothing happened for me, basically.
You didn't watch any shows and finish any shows, did you?
Actually, I did. I finally, all the ones that ended, I've Tanya the Evil, we finished Konosuba, there's a couple other ones that finished that I feel like I should remember, but I don't. I'm also... There's only 2 new shows I'm watching right now, and that's Attack on Titan Season 2, which that first episode
was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I was not expecting that ending. That ending was a lot more harsher than I expected it to be.
I've read ahead in the manga, and I forgot how harsh. Yeah. like, to be honest, it gets even harsher.
Yeah, and I'm watching Eromanga Sensei, which is from the same author of Oremo.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's why the character designs look similar.
That's why the character designs look similar. And in fact, it's funny, too, because... the girl, a lot of the plushies that she has is actually the same plushies that Kirino has. The exact same ones.
Oh.
And the mask she wears is a magical girl from the Magical Girl anime in Oremo. So they are like saying, hey, you remember Oremo? Of course you do, because you're a lousy piece of shit.
You're a lousy piece of shit.
Yep.
You goddamn motherfucker.
And other than that, it was my birthday last week.
Oh yeah, I meant to say happy birthday, but I forgot.
It's okay, I forgot my birthday too.
I'm a great friend.
I'm a horrible person, so it's okay. It works.
Yay.
But anyways, that's pretty much the end of my week. But I guess we're here focusing on someone's past week, or should I say weeks.
Yeah, I was gone for a while.
You were gone for 2 weeks, weren't you?
Yeah, basically I was gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so this episode's going to be a little different. It's not going to be an actual episode. In fact, if you've guessed from my terrible voice acting, is that this is going to be a start of the Tiger Anime specials.
Yes, this will be very, very infrequently, but every once in a while.
Every once in a while when we want to do something such as an opportunity like this to ask how Japan is and what it's like to be in Japan, or from eventually our discussion into whatever type of stuff in anime.
Yeah.
Like I know we plan on having a Bakemonogatari discussion, something about Evangelion and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and maybe a few other things.
Maybe a few others. But that's here and this is now. So tell us, Jay, how was Japan as he dies?
Yeah, as I die. So I don't really know how you want me to go about it.
Let's start off from the beginning. What company did you actually go through to go through Japan?
So I went with a company called Paxset Tours, and they are a tour company group that basically just focuses on trips or tours of Japan. Mm-hmm. Like that's their only focus. And I actually got to talk to the guy who owns the company because he went with on our tour. In fact, he goes on every tour that they go on, which is a lot. He he basically was like kind of frustrated about how the tour company he was with was like focusing on like older generations of people. So basically like, people in their 40s and 50s who are had stable jobs and are retiring and stuff like that. And he's like, well, after the earthquake and the tsunami, like no one, they all thought Japan fell off the map. It's kind of basically what he says. So like, why don't we cater to like the nerds and like the young people who actually are interested in Japan? And so he left the company and started his own. And so that's how the company clicked.
So what makes this company a lot more different than other companies?
Well, one, they allowed me to pay for the entire trip in monthly installments. So I paid for the entire full package, which was $30,950. Now, and I had just paid that over 12 months, which made it incredibly affordable. I was able to like put money aside from each of my paychecks and then put it towards a monthly payment, kind of like a loan or whatever. Just it was a really expensive one. But yeah, so that's
on average, like, because I know that it gets more expensive the closer to the tour. You got yours right out of the bat, basically.
Yeah, I got mine.
How much was that a month?
$335.
That's actually not a lot.
The lowest it went if you went for 1 week, which you just spent in Tokyo, that was like $250 a month if you got it right away. Because you got to kind of pay attention of like when the tours happen, because there's several different tours. I went on the animated spring tour, which happens in March. And so that one I signed up in March of 2016, right after the 2016 one ended. So yeah, so that was the company I went with, and how like, and I found them out through the ANN cast, and also they had a banner ad on Anime News Network, for those of you who don't know, so that's ANN. And so I clicked on their banner ad, and I bookmarked it, and then I'm like, hey, this tour's up, I'm gonna go for it. Just basically calculated my lowest monthly budget, and then I figured that I deducted all my bills, and then I had enough left over to do the payment as every single month.
So is there just one tour, or is there just
no? There's actually a bunch of them. There's actually, you can go one that's like just like a winter tour. I don't know exactly what that one entitles. I didn't look at it. There's a Paw Prints tour, which you go to different places in Japan that feature different animals and stuff like that. Now when you go really all over Japan, you go to different places. There's a food tour. There's also a BL tour, which I've actually heard from the guy who does it. It's actually really fun, but I will not go on that.
For those who don't know, BL is boys love, so the yaoi.
Yeah. And then there's also animated spring, animated summer, and animated winter, I believe, as well. I've had to check, because there's a bunch of tours you can go on there. They all vary in prices. There's also a food tour, which that would be very interesting to do. They all vary in prices. They also vary in like whether or not like how much shopping there is and how much culture you have. Like mine was more shopping geared and a little bit of culture. The second half of the second week was really culture.
Yeah. So that answers then my next question is of that. Is it just focused on like, because you said it was focused, catered to the geeks. Is it mostly just geek stuff, or is we get to see the culture side of Japan too?
So I'll be explaining a little bit more of like exactly what we were doing, but mainly the gist of it was the first week in Tokyo was mainly shopping, like a lot of shopping, and going to like the anime centric and nerd centers of Tokyo. And the second half was more like the Kansai region, so Osaka and Kyoto. And that was my favorite part of the tour, was the second half. But yeah, we'll get into that why once we get there. But yeah, but to start off, like I had to, what was really nice also was that the price that I paid included my plane ticket from LA, all the transportation in Japan, my hotel stays in Japan, as well as a few extra things such as a maid cafe and a few other places we went to. And then
there's a reason that it's expensive, is because it covers all this.
It covers all of that, which actually was cheaper than if I were to do it by myself. And it was a heck of a lot easier because I didn't realize how complicated it would be to get everything by myself. Especially like how expensive it is to travel outside of Tokyo.
Because I remember when you were first mentioning that you were saving up for a trip to Japan, that you originally were just gonna go there and see what happens.
Yeah, and that actually would have been a really bad idea.
Yeah.
After actually going there with people, I'm like, that would have been dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went the tour, and just so everyone knows, I actually went with not knowing anyone that else was going on, and there was 42 of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was actually going to be my next question too. Is how big was the tour guide?
It was
group?
it was 42 guests plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tour guides. Mm-hmm. And they were all really great.
Cool.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
But anyways, they also helped set up my flight from the Minneapolis airport here in Minnesota to the LAX airport in LA, obviously.
Oh.
They set that up for me. I just had to pay for it. And then they'll set me up with the whole hotel there as well, which was really nice. So that ended up being an extra $500 roughly, because the plane was about $350 and the hotel was about $150.
Yeah. So they really help you out if you're not used to travel.
Yeah, like they basically it is. If there's a problem, they fix it. They don't even tell you about it unless it directly affects you. Mm-hmm. I'll explain it a little bit more once we get to the part where we actually found out. Oh, there was a problem that has happened going on. But no, they fix up everything for me. I just hey, you can either do it yourself or they can do it, and I'm like, you guys can do it.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. And so that it was just really great. Here's your stuff. Pay. So yeah.
All right. So tell us about the trip then, starting from I guess you waking up to the day of the trip to however long. Because I'm guessing this is probably going to be maybe a 2-part special. Couple parts. We'll figure it out.
I'll probably just put it in one long episode that people can just listen to. Well, you'll if you're listening to this, you know. Yeah. So when I woke up, I spent 2 days packing, to make sure I wouldn't forget anything super important. Just kind of starting little by little with the Wednesday, and then Thursday night really getting everything done and ready to go. And so by the time I woke up in the morning, I didn't have to worry about anything. But I did forget Kleenexes, which I ended up needing the entire trip when I could not find any in Japan. So I just dealt with it.
Of all the things you could not find Kleenex.
Of all the things, I just didn't want to because I couldn't read anything. So, but anyways, that's a separate issue. It was the only thing I forgot was a package of traveling Kleenexes that I forgot to throw into my bag, and that was it. But I had everything else. I didn't forget anything else, and that was fantastic. But so I flew from. I met my uncle actually at the airport because he was actually going to, I think it was Arizona. It was Arizona. Yeah, it was Arizona. To meet some friends of his and hang out for his birthday. And so we met, had lunch. He gave me some traveling money for the airport, which actually ended up being a huge help because I was really broke by the end of it. And so we met up, flew to LA, no problems, except that when we got to LA, there was a very thick fog cover. And what I mean by very thick fog cover, we saw the ground, then we landed.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was we could not, I looked down and I couldn't see anything. I'm like, how high up are we? Then we hit the cloud. Those are buildings. Oh. But yeah, and then I just took an Uber from the airport to my hotel, and then stayed the night there. The next morning, I actually met a couple people from the tour group there, right away, waiting for the shuttle, because we had to be at the airport by 7:30, between 7:30 and 8:30. Otherwise, if you missed your trip, too bad.
Yeah.
You lost out on all that money, which would have sucked. And so I ended up actually meeting 2 people there, and both of them were from Minnesota.
Nice.
In fact, 9 of the people who went were from Minnesota.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was kind of interesting. And so how I ended up knowing they were on the PAXA tours because they were talking about Persona. I'm like, you guys looking for? Are you guys in package tour? Like, yep. So that was Adine and Travis, who actually ended up spending quite a bit of time with on the tour. When we had like free time and stuff like that, because we had so many people, we actually had to split up.
Yeah.
And then everyone did the exact same things, so just different days.
Okay.
And so, but that was really, really fun. So we ended up talking. We ended up meeting like everyone in our group. So we basically like, took over like a small section of the LAX, like terminal, like check-in area. Which, God, that is awfully small. Have you been to the Minneapolis airport?
Yes.
So you know how you get dropped off. You go in and you get this like big giant area for like tons of standing room.
Yep.
You're not in anyone's way.
Yep.
Forget that. You have maybe 20 feet between the when you get into the wall.
Ew.
That's how much like space like everything takes place in, and so you kind of don't have room to fit like the 40 people that were there. And so it was and so like that, I did not like that airport. It's like very segmented off, so as soon as you go through security, you're stuck in that section of the airport. You can't go off to other sections, which sucks. But yeah, then we went to. So yeah, then we met a few people, talked about different random things, met our tour guides, got our tour itinerary, which I still have, our JR passes, which is this thing right here. I know I can't see it because it's I'm showing Arash.
Yeah, we'll post a picture of it like in a comment underneath.
Yeah, this is a Suica card. This is the most useful thing you'll ever buy for traveling in Japan. You can use this to pay for all of your train traveling. You pay through with this. You're able to put money onto it. You can also use it on certain vending machines that have it. You can also use it at certain stores as well. We'll take these as well.
Oh wow!
You basically all you have to do is just tap it, and like it registers that you went where you got off, and then where you entered the station, and then you get onto a train. And then when you get off, you just tap it again and it deducts the amount that you took from it. Because otherwise you have to like literally pay the exact amount ahead of time and know exactly your route you're taking. Because if you take the wrong route, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that we got all over that. We also got a booklet that had like a bunch of like info about the different areas, as well as like, hey, like, here's some phrases in Japanese you might want to know, which we ended up using. But I actually took a picture of the guy of that section just so I had it on hand because most of the time it's in my backpack.
Yeah.
So then we hopped onto our plane, and it's from LAX. It's to Haneda Airport in Tokyo. It is about 10.5 hours. So yeah, and so we basically you're sitting on the plane for 10.5 hours and watch movies and stuff like that. And one of the movies I saw on there was Your Name. And I did not watch it.
I bet.
I was so tempted to, and I could see like everyone else also watching it that was on our tour because we were kind of in the same section of the plane. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna resist that temptation, so I watched Shin Godzilla instead. And then I also watch like Planet Earth and stuff like that. But then on the way there, we have to, in order to get into Japan, you have to fill out 2 different custom forms. One of them is to say how long you're going to be there, and basically also gets you into the baggage claim area. So that I can't remember exactly what it is. Like basically like where you're staying, like how many days, why you're here, and then the second one is your custom forms. So so the first one is immigration. The second one is customs. So the custom form is basically, hey, don't have this, don't have this, don't have this, don't have this, and then you put where you're going and stuff like that. And I was a little worried about like how to fill that out exactly. A lot of our information was in our booklet, so we pulled out that, wrote that in. But I also but they gave us a very little space to write the address, and we didn't know how to write the address into it exactly. So we kind of wrote it in, and then like I was just like standing in line, kind of waiting for the bathroom, and happened to have it on me. I just like asked Evan, the guy who owns the company and who's the main tour guide. He I asked him like, hey, like, can you make sure like these are correct? He's like, yeah, okay, just put this right here, and then he just wrote it down because I know that with like some. If you're doing like Japanese businesses, they're very like particular. If like if you make a mistake, you have to do the entire thing over again for every single form. I'm like, and so for a second, I'm like, oh, do I need to write the hotel one for this? He just goes and like, he just looks at it and goes, nah, they won't give a shit. And it's kind of like, okay. And so then we landed, and then like we all get off the plane, and we're following Evan, and then we get to this like part of the airport like where he turns around, he's like, okay, you guys can go this way for customs and immigration is where you need to go to get your bag and stuff like that, and then you go this way where there's jack shit. And there was literally nothing that way except like different exits for different different terminal gates. And so we all went through the entire process of it. Basically, all you do is just put your fingers in, and you look at a camera, and they scan you, and then they stamp and then they put a sticker on your passport.
Nice.
And no, actually, no, they put a sticker on your passport right there, and it gives you and the most basic pass is a 90-day pass. It's a temporary entry into the country, and so you have to leave by that 90 days. And so then we hopped onto a charter bus from Haneda Airport to our hotel in Oimachi, where we stayed for Tokyo. So the one thing I'd say about Tokyo is that it's the Tokyo city itself is actually really tiny. Imagine like how Manhattan Island. There's New York City, but there's also like the Bronx and other stuff like that. It's kind of like that. Like you have Tokyo City, then you have like Shinjuku, then you have like Shinjuku, Oimachi, and past that you also have like things like Akihabara, Ikebukuro. Not like necessarily within that. Like it's all like really interconnected, and nothing's more than like a 30-minute train ride away, which is actually pretty quick. Just getting off. So we were staying in Oimachi, which is just south of Tokyo City. And the first thing that we kind of noticed, like, everything's really cramped. Everything's really, really cramped. We were given like basically kind of like, hey, here's what you do like on a train. Like, when you get into a train, don't stand where the doors are. Actually, get into the aisles, like so you're away from the doors and stuff like that, so people can get on and off really easily. Also, if there's an open spot, sit. You will create space by sitting. Even if you don't feel like sitting, sit. Because you will create more space. Because they constantly had to, like, that's what we were constantly saying. Also, when you're riding an escalator, it's my favorite thing. I wish we did it here. Our escalators aren't wide enough, though. If you're going to stand, get on the left-hand side.
Oh.
If you're going to walk, you go right.
Oh.
It was the greatest thing ever because we just stand on the left hand side, and people could go up the escalator, or go down depending on which direction you're going.
Huh.
And also a lot of things like in this like the train stations and stuff like that, like they have arrows about where you go and which direction. No one followed them. But you generally follow them, and when it got really busy, no one did.
Yep.
But yeah. So that's basically kind of like the first like couple days, just like getting into Tokyo.
How was the hotel, by the way?
It was tiny.
Yeah.
So the hotel was really tiny. So the beds that we have, like Japanese, like really, really firm mattresses. Like this is the firmest mattress I've ever slept on. And you know how like the Japanese usually have like just one blanket?
Yeah.
That blanket's really heavy and really warm, and it's perfect. That's all you need is that one blanket. And like I was surprised that was all I needed. Also the bathrooms were really tiny. Like I barely fit.
Please tell me you had a smart toilet.
You did.
You did? How was that?
It was interesting.
That's all you're gonna say.
So no, like, it was interesting to like sit on it and have it be warm.
Did you use the bidet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is by far the weirdest experience I've ever had in my entire life. Is that bidet? That's all I'm gonna say on it. But yeah, and so that's kind of like the first day, and also, no, actually, that's not the end of it. Actually, this is there we go. So the first thing we did after we got settled in, we got some food. If you wanted to get food, is the first thing we did is we went to Tokyo Tower. So Tokyo Tower is actually a broadcasting tower. It does broadcast actual TV from it.
Oh.
And there's a few other things about it, with it as well, just historical stuff. But it was great because we basically hopped on the train, got to the stop where the closest train stop to Tokyo Tower, and then we got off, and then we got to walk, which was fantastic. We actually got to see the city and stuff like that. And also I was taking tons of pictures. And so then we headed towards Tokyo Tower, and and they told me this is the only time it's ever been busy because they were holding a Taiwan festival there, and it was jam packed. Like you got even in the lobby was just jam packed. And so what we did is we kind of shuffled off because we got there a little early. From the time we were actually supposed to be there, so we shuffled off into the kind of the historical section where they have like a bunch of like little small exhibits about it. Can't read any of it though. But luckily, the Evan knew, he's like, you could tell he's a history buff for Japan because he was telling us very enthusiastically about the history of the area, and basically like after World War II, after Tokyo kind of burned to the ground because we firebombed it, we being Americans, so they started to kind of revitalize the area. And it was actually private TV corporations, broadcasting corporations that built Tokyo Tower. And it kind of looks like the Eiffel Tower. It's just a little bit bigger. And so I guess again, it does actually broadcast TV, and there is an observation deck that you can go off of. But before we did that, so the only thing I can describe is that the mascot of the Tokyo Tower came out, and Japanese loves their mascots, but this thing looked like a butt plug. It was like, why is there a walking butt plug walking out this door, walks past us? It's like, what the fuck? So they're kind of just cracking jokes about it. It's great because no one can understand us. It was either that or a dildo. Like, it was not looking.
It was phallic shaped.
It was
basically.
phallic. It was very phallic. We also looked at the other they have a small little cartoon pictures of the other mascots. I'm like, oh, there's the dildo. There's the butt plug. Oh, because it's supposed to be in the shape of the towers.
Yeah.
But so now then we actually got up to the observation deck, and that's where we got to see all the huge skyline, basically, which to be honest isn't very big because Tokyo is still a very low city. At least Tokyo Prefecture, the cities and stuff, they're pretty low. Generally about 6 stories is the highest residential buildings, 6 or 7 stories. I think the highest I saw in that area was about 15, over a bigger business building. So you can tell where the business buildings were because they were the taller ones. Yeah. But yeah, so we went through that, and but that one was all lit up. They had it because of it was right before it was supposed to be around the time the cherry blossoms bloomed, but due to the weather conditions, they hadn't. In fact, you could actually, if you looked at the trees, you could actually see the buds about to bloom, and it's like,
bloom, dang it,
bloom, dang it. But no, so we actually, but they had it all decked out. They had these purple lights set up to look like cherry blossoms. They had projectors and stuff, projecting stuff from the floor. It was really pretty and really cool. And they also had a gift shop and everything there, touristy stuff. And so we were there for a while. And some people actually had gone earlier because there was a One Piece thing going on there. Basically different little arcade things, very geared to someone. And one of the adults told me, he's like, yeah, it's very much geared towards kids. There was stuff that I couldn't do because I was too big. That's okay. My friend's like, yes, I did. So there was some stuff going on with that. Then we walked back, and on the way back we saw the Mario go-kart people. They dressed up in different costumes on go-karts.
That's great.
It was kind of fantastic. And so yeah, then the next day, so this is where I start to need a little sheet because I forget.
We did a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot. So the next day is. Oh yeah, so the next day is we actually went to the Ghibli Museum.
Cool.
So this is actually the highlights of it. We headed to the city of Mitaka. I don't remember which direction it is in terms of, because I wasn't fully paying attention. I was more of like making sure, one, I didn't hit my head going on the train and going off the train, which I did. And also because we had to take 3 different stops to get there. And also like the subway trains, if you go like super early in the morning, you better hope you're not claustrophobic, because you are literally like right by someone. Like, you are touching people all around you, and there's no way to avoid it. Because that's how you have to stand on the train, because there's so many people just jam-packed, and they're trying to get to work and stuff like that. Because it's rush hour, and it's mass transit. But it was awesome still for that. We also that night, because also in the stations themselves, you can buy, there's tons of shops in there. They have like, so like I got a meat bun there, steamed meat bun, and like a few other like snacks and stuff like that while I was there, and it was really, really good. All the food was fantastic. And so then we got to at Mitaka Station, walked out, and we were given the choice to either do the bus to the museum or just walk. We walked. Everyone walked, and no one wanted to take the bus. It was a really, really, really nice day out. And he said the walk was by a river. He's like, you get to walk by the river, and we're thinking like, from Minnesota, we have like the Mississippi.
Yeah, we
like
our rivers.
That's a river. The river was literally maybe about like 2 feet wide. Like, that's a stream, not a river.
What you call a river, we call a stream.
So, but it was still really nice. So you actually see these signs of markers pointing to the museum. They had Totoro on them, and they're also like decked out and like just like, they looked like wood carvings and stuff like that. It was really pretty. And we just kind of walking, enjoying this, like basically one straight line, and then we moved off to get to what the museum was, and we actually got there. Our tickets were actually the wrong time. We were supposed to get in there at 10 o'clock, but we got the tickets for 11.
Ooh.
So we found us out while standing in front of the museum, and they kicked us off the property of the museum because we were taking up too much space, making up too much noise, so no one could get to the ticket booth. So they kicked us completely off. And told us to go away from the gate as well. Yeah. That was fun. So then, but there's actually a park right by the museum, and we actually went to that park. And there actually happened to be a sakura tree that bloomed there.
Oh.
Like, it was very, very pretty, and I got a few pictures of it. And so, and also right past that was also some plum trees that were just ending their blooming. So like, so that's how it happens. That the plum trees bloom first, and then the cherry blossoms bloom second. And the cherry blossoms are the one people really care about. And so people, we passed the time by playing games. Some people were playing red light, green light, and I wasn't participating, so I was just taking pictures. And I just kind of looked behind me, and there's this old man with these two boys. And I could tell he was trying to convince them to join us in playing red light, green light. And like, I just kind of asked the guy, and I'm like, is he actually trying to convince? Like, just like, yeah, he is. I'm like, oh, that's adorable. They should, but they didn't.
No.
But no, it's kind of funny because one of the guides was who was playing red light, green light. Anita, she was doing JoJo poses. So she was like green light. She was like, it's like, so when it hit red light, she would quickly go into a JoJo pose and then stay there until she couldn't get it. It was really funny. But then after about a while of just hanging out, we finally got into the museum. And one of the rules of the museum is that you cannot take pictures. No one can take pictures, not even for advertising for the museum itself. No pictures at all. So the entire inside of it, the only thing I have of it is a pamphlet that has a map of it. And to be honest, I can see why. The place is very much how the studio sees itself. Saw itself, because the studio really doesn't exist as a studio anymore. Just more of as like a rights holder, really, is what they are right now. And so like it's a museum is really small. It's tall but small at the same time, and it's like it's very warm is how I would describe it. It's a very warm feeling when you're walking in because everything's like made out of wood or these like very very not traditional, but it's like very much how like, you would expect a cabin to feel is how the museum looked and felt. And so like the first room I went into was which was the permanent exhibit, which has a bunch of different things of animation that they built. Mm-hmm. So there's one like for a Castle in the Sky, which is basically they rotate these like like how like there's quick things of animation where you spin something and then you can see it like move and stuff like that. They had that, except they had it turning, and when it spun, it looked like doves were flying all over this thing. They also had this one where it was a bunch of different models. There are different stages of of an action, and it spins at a high speed, and then a strobe light goes off, so it looks like it's actually staying in place and moving. And that was really really cool. They also had like a bunch of little. You can also tell a bunch of this was geared towards kids. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of little things you could look at and click buttons and have like animatronics move and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They also had a film reel of test footage that they had. I think it was test footage. I couldn't tell. I didn't ask either. Mm-hmm. Of like the different like animation things that they were doing, and this was actually on celluloid film that they were actually projecting this off of. And they also had this entire giant contraption of celluloid, of like basically like how like, different projector wheels, so they could have like a ton of film, and you could watch. Like they had a little view window where you could watch like a little like they had a little LED light because so it doesn't burn the film of like the film strips going by, and you can actually look in a little hole and actually see it, and so it's all colored and stuff like that still. And that was really really cool. Like that was really really cool to see, and also like as you went up there, different exhibits. One of the ones I sat in and I wanted to stay there forever was the cat bus. They have a room that's basically just a cat bus.
That's awesome.
And it has couches and everything. Just sat down and I almost fell asleep. It was so comfy. But then and there's also like a few other exhibit things. They also had they have a movie theater there as well. Mm-hmm. That plays exclusive films that are exclusively only shown at that theater.
Oh wow!
And so they rotate them out. And the one we saw was The Witch and the Princess Egg. Mm-hmm. And which is like basically this big, ugly, not big, this short, fat, ugly, big-breasted witch. Like really, like this is like the most ugly thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it's like making things. She finds this egg that she can't like break, and so she like puts like a dual dress on it and a hat, and it comes to life and basically becomes her servant. It's a really weird thing that ends up where like this dough also comes alive and they bake it and he becomes like this big buff dough man, the bread man. It's like it's weird. It was really weird, but like it was also like super fantastic because it was the first time I've seen something new from Ghibli in a while, and it was all none of it was voice acted. So it's all done through. So this entire story is all done through the animation itself, and as well as like the music and directing of it. It was super fantastic. And there was also a bunch, and they have like a bunch of other films that they've made exclusively for. Also, the theater that they have was made specifically for children, so the seats are really tiny. And like the theater itself is also really really adorable and cute. And then, so that was, and then also your ticket to get in it's a copy of a celluloid strip for one of a Ghibli films, and I got Ponyo. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at through everyone else's. I happen to know almost every single film they've done. It's like, oh, you got from Up on Poppy Hill, you got from this one, you got from this one. That was super fantastic. That was really really fun. And then they had the animation works room, which is right next to the cat bus room. Mm-hmm. And this is by far the most interesting portion of it, for me anyways, because they had actual, and I mean this, actual original storyboards, reference art, backgrounds. They had actual animation cells. They had actual, they had actual layouts of like what you do before you actually do it. So they had character design sheets, original sketches, everything you need for production was in this room. And it was all displayed on the walls and stuff like that. They had set up like basically an animation desk, like on the that an animator would work at, or either that or like what Miyazaki's desk would look like. Which they forgot the pile, the ashtray with tons of cigarettes inside of it, because that's really what it would be like.
Yeah.
But no, like it was just like just kind of like just awesome to see all this artwork that the people at the studio made when they're making any film. You can actually tell which film it was for too. There's a bunch of stuff from Howl's Moving Castle. They had the original storyboards for the Grave of the Fireflies. There on the wall. And and also had like different booklets of like different full of like different notes and artwork and stuff like that. Just sitting there, you could flip through and stuff. And that was awesome. And then we got to the part where there's a note from Miyazaki about like just basically just like being like a grumpy old man about animation studios.
I was about to ask you, is it like super aggressive or passive?
It is the most like aggressive thing I've ever seen in my life. And he's very like much. So not far from the museum is like within the same town actually. It's Studio Perriot's over there. So they did the animation work for Naruto, Bleach, and Tokyo Ghoul. They're right by that. They're pretty close to it. Yeah. And so I was talking to Evan, who happened to be with, and he's like he translated the note for me. And he's basically saying like, back in the day, a big grumpy old man thing. Back in the day, animators used to talk with one another, and the studios used to be really, really loud. And he says nowadays people just put in their music and just not talk to anyone. And then like Evan goes like, yeah, if you ever tour an animation studio, like you can hear a pin drop. It's so quiet. Like, oh, yeah. If you ever watch the documentary, The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, there's actually they go through the studio a lot. It's loud. Studio Ghibli was really, really loud because I don't think they allowed headphones in it because they wanted people to talk to each other. So there's constant activity in the studio. If you ever, I recommend the documentary. It's really, really good. You can find it on Amazon, and I think it's on Netflix too. But yeah, so that was the kind of like the inside of it. If you went to the top of the museum, you could take pictures there. They had a 2-scale model of the robot from Castle in the Sky. Ooh. The thing is really tall. Like really tall. And then they also had, I can't remember what it was called, but the cube from Castle in the Sky 2. They had that there. They had a replica of that, the actual like 2-scale size. And it's pretty big. But yeah, and then also there's a cafe there, which we didn't go into because it was jam-packed.
I can imagine.
This place was really busy. And this was actually where I first learned how to navigate a crowd, which is you just go "Sinimasen," which is excuse me. You know, people will part for you. But yeah, and also they have a gift shop there with a bunch of items and everything's super expensive.
I can imagine.
I think like one of the things I looked at, I don't remember what it was, but like I still remember like being like just baffled by why anyone would buy it there. It was like $400. It's like, oh my gosh. They also had like all the movies on Blu-ray, and those were 700-800 yen, which is you can get it for way cheaper on Amazon. But also one of the other stores that they had there, you could buy the storyboards for all the movies, copies of them, for like 3,000 yen, so about like $28. As well as like, here's the art for it, like art books, as well as tons of other things. I ended up not buying any of it because I'm like, I don't know like what else I'm gonna find and stuff like that. And like, I love their movies, but like, I don't know like what I would do with a storyboard thing, which kind of goes and bites me in the butt because of what I bought later. But anyways, but then after that we headed off to Akihabara. It is loud. Akihabara is super loud. Like, they blast music not in the store, but out to the streets. Like, we were walking by, like, certain stores, and there would be, like, advertisements for, like, idol groups, and, like, we'd have a TV, like, showing the idol group, as well as, like, blasting the goddamn music and stuff like that. We also, but before we did any of the shopping, we actually went to a ramen place there, like literal hole in a building ramen shop, like that you would see in different anime and stuff like that. And then we had the best ramen. It was so good. Oh, it was so delicious. We ate the entire thing, and it was pretty inexpensive for what it was.
Huh.
Like I think it was like 800 yen, 890 yen from what I had, and then plus the beer I got, so about 1,200. It was really cheap. But then so we went to there. There's this place called Don Quixote. That place you can find literally anything. Imagine something, and it exists there. Like it was the weirdest shop I've ever been to, and it's like 7 stories tall. And there's just random shit on all the different floors and stuff like that. But then we on the store right next to it, also the top 2 levels is an arcade.
Oh.
They have like Tekken machines there, Street Fighter machines, as well as the game I played, which was Gunslinger Stratos. Freaking play that game. That game is freaking awesome. You have 2 different guns that you get to aim and stuff like that, and if you click them...
Oh, is that the one where if you click them in certain ways?
So if you click them, so like I was playing a character, if I clicked one and put it on top, it changes into a machine gun. If I put it a different way, it turned into a rocket launcher. If I put it a different way, it turned into like a shotgun. And if you just take them and put them down, you use a sword. It's freaking great. And it has like, one of the guns has a joystick on it, so you can move and stuff like that. It's super fun. It's really, really fun. I highly recommend actually playing it. And it's only and all the machines are 100 yen a play. So
it's not that expensive.
So it's about $1 a play. But you get a ton of time off of it, and it's super fun.
Unlike here.
Yeah. It's like you get, oh no, you got 30 seconds. Ha ha ha. But no, you actually are able to play it. I can understand why the arcade community still exists in Japan because of how accessible it is in terms of even monetarily it's accessible. There's also you can also go to different arcades that had different rhythm games and stuff like that. If you went to the Sega one, you went to the basement, that's where all the rhythm games were.
Ooh.
I did not do any of them because they all looked really hard. And people were super serious about it. Holy shit, they were serious about it. Also, I didn't play it. 1, because I couldn't. 2, because I had no idea what the rules were. And 3, because you needed to buy physical cards in order to actually play the damn game.
That's awesome.
I think it was either Gundam or something else. I think it was a mech thing, but it had this board. You know how Yu-Gi-Oh! They had a board and you put the thing on. They had that, and then you put the cards on there and you move them around to do things with them, and it affects what happens in the game.
That's awesome.
It was freaking cool looking, but I did not. I was like, that is way too much.
2 things into 1.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool. And then we went to the next store over, which was Animate. For those of you who don't know, Animate is one of the biggest chains in Japan in terms of anime goods. There's that in gamers. So this is where shopping in Tokyo becomes kind of a hassle for taller Americans. Also wider Americans, because everything's cramped fucking close together, and so it's really, really cramped. And also, anime is not 1 floor; it is 7, and there's every single floor is dedicated to something different. In fact, this one was actually super long, so I actually had 2 sections on each side, and those 2 sections could be completely different. One could be, in one of the floors was literally both sides were for girls stuff. One of them was hardcore BL stuff.
Nice.
I was talking to some other people who were there, and they said that they saw 2 Japanese guys who were just kind of talking, looked up, saw all the BL, did the 180 and got right out of there. And that's where I bought something for Khaleesi. Was an Animate. I had someone help me find it because I didn't know where the fuck I looked.
Yeah.
And so, but one thing that it made sense, but the Blu-rays were all the way at the top. So you had to take an elevator to go there, or you could take the stairs. And taking the stairs, I actually do recommend taking the stairs because there's ads fucking everywhere. Because like the entire stairwell, the stairs themselves is one ad. The walls are covered in ads. Right by each of the stairwells, there's usually a TV playing an advertisement about something specifically. There was a interviews with Monster Girls, like giant life-size Demi-chan doll with her head, holding her head and making this funny expression. I got a picture of it. Well, TV's playing an advertisement for
That's
it.
awesome.
And there's also something for the Ancient Magus' Bride there as well. Like they basically like take the section and kind of like cover it in ads for it, and also decorate it specifically like for like also like have like mannequins or something there like specifically for that show and stuff like that. That's how they advertise it there. Also, if you're walking down the aisles and stuff like that, if you want to find something, especially if it's newer and if it's popular, there'll be a dedicated section right there for it. There's actually a dedicated section for Dragon Maid. I found one. So it was just mainly the CDs and stuff like that because the Blu-ray had just come out. And so that was really, really cool to see how that works. There's also a ton of like Dojin stuff in there as well. Also in Akihabara, there's a ton... Did you... No, I didn't.
Buy any Dojins?
No, I didn't.
No, okay. You should have.
I should have, yeah, but I didn't. But so that was really cool to see all that. Then after shopping for a little while, we headed over to a maid cafe.
Ooh.
This is by far one of the strangest experiences I've ever had.
Because from what I understand, the maid experience, you don't go there for food. You go there for the experience.
Okay, the food was also really good too.
Is it good? Oh, so you would go back for the food and the experience.
The melon soda in Japan is to die for. So like those of you who don't know what a maid cafe is, it sounds.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
First of all,
but no. So a maid cafe is basically where the waitresses and just the waitresses dress up as maids. And when you order something, specifically parfait, you have to do a delicious spell onto it, which I completely forgot what it is. And usually there's one girl who's like the head one, who's running around yelling on a microphone and being super loud. And then like partway through, and you have to do reservations for this, because of like how freaking weird it is.
Yeah.
Because like basically you like have set times and you're only there for that amount of time really. But we all got our parfaits. I got a chocolate parfait and it was in the shape of a bear. It's like little nose and ears, cookies for ears and stuff like
awesome.
that. It was really adorable. And also I was wearing bunny ears. It's like they passed out these little things. So and then also to get to that, like that was on the 6th floor. So like the reason why I keep on mentioning these floors is because every single floor is different.
Yeah.
Every single floor was some other restaurant or some other shop. It's like because you could like look at a building and see one store and one thing, but the every other store is something else. And it's like one small anime was 2 floors, and the rest of it was something completely different. And so we were on the 6th floor for that one, but they at the one part in it, you get like far enough in, like they'll sell you like little poppers as well as glow sticks, and they're really expensive, like 800 yen.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it's like no thanks. But you get a concert. I'm not kidding about this. They put on a show.
That's so awesome.
And like they had a freaking disco ball, and like this one girl was giving us like little like things like to do like at certain parts in the song, and so she spoke quite a bit of English too, so we could understand what she was saying. but while like she's going on singing and stuff like that, this one girl like right next to our table is just fucking rocking it out, like just flailing her arms and face, and like she's like she stole the show for us. So we just right there like, holy crap. But no, like it was super fun. Like everyone was I was with, we were talking about like the different, they all got like different treats and stuff like that. It was so, and also two of the people who were there were on their honeymoon, and so that was their honeymoon trip, and it was just a blast to like actually do that. It was actually, and it was was like, whoa, wow, that was fun.
We're not used to stuff like that.
Yeah,
here.
it was, and also like there's also another woman who was there who was at like the bar and stuff like that, who bought one of the clothes and was super happy and into it. It's like she must be in her 30s. Like, okay, more power to her. It was super funny. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was super fun. And then after that, we did more shopping. I went to Ami Ami, one of the actual physical stores. One of the floor. So there was only 2 stores. So I think it was like floor 4, floor 5. Floor 5 was secondhand goods, and so you go through that, and you actually can like buy some older figures from secondhand.
Like the one you got me.
No, that one's from a different place.
Oh, okay.
But then the floor right below it is its newer products and stuff like that, and I went through it. And this was the first time I encountered how the Japanese advertise porn. And how they advertise it is they leave it out in the open.
That's so great.
So I was literally like looking at some figures, and I just turned my head, and there was a body pillow, and there were boobs, and I'm like,
oh,
okay. And then how someone later put it when we were later put it's like, you don't find the porn finds you. He was specifically talking about gamers, because I also went into a gamers, and I just turned a corner, and there was this like corner that said, I'm like, I just kind of was looking up at the top and said R18. I'm like, with an arrow with a line through it, and I'm like, what? Then I look down, and there's just tons of porn there, like front facing, not covered up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, turn. But yeah, so that was like kind of like really, like, because usually like if you go to a convention they have it like covered up and stuff like that.
All the things covered up, all the naughty bits.
Yeah, but nope, it's all out in the open for everyone to see. It's like, okay. And then I headed over to a store called Traders, which is really just Trader with a 3 on it. And that's where I found, I was specifically looking for Hyoka secondhand. I found it. It was damaged. It was 3,200 yen.
Oh, jeez.
No, it's not 3,200 yen. 32,000 yen.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, for the entire thing. And I'm like, okay, it's damaged. No. I did, however, find the Love Live movie, the limited edition version, for cheaper than the cost of it here in the States. And then I bought Macross Delta volumes 1 through 6.
Jeez.
For 22,431 yen.
Wow.
Mind you, just Macross Delta, that wouldn't even cover half the series if I had bought it brand new.
Jeez.
One of this, like the first volume was only 1,500 yen, and that came with a box. So that's where I actually bought it. And so that's the first like major big purchase I bought was that. And so then after that we just kind of headed back, and then this is also where we start. So this is Monday night. And this is where we start the what would become a tradition of every single night to do, except for one other night. There was Sunday night and one more night after this, where we all went out drinking. We went to a small little bar, terrorized a woman by showing up. And so we wanted to say, we had 8 people with us, which is too big of a group for most independent small bars to have. And so one of the guys, he meant to say, what was it? Ichi-ni-san, shi-go, roko, ichi, hachi. He meant to say hachi, which is 8. He instead says ocha, which he was trying to say ocho. He instead put it as an A to ocha, which means green tea in Japanese. So not only
did he try to say the number in the wrong language?
Not only did he try to say the number in the wrong language, he also said it wrong in that language, which ended up being green tea. And so the woman looked really confused, and he's just like, I'm looking at him like, you're trying to say 8. And so he holds up his 8 fingers and goes, Ocha! So afterwards, like after some finagling, because she barely spoke any English,
Yeah.
we got upstairs and we were able to push the tables together that were up there because the bar was completely empty. And then we drank them out of one type of sake completely.
Oh God.
And then we ordered 4 things of French fries. Don't know why. It became a recurring thing that we would order was French fries at bars. And then we ordered a bunch of food. We got some Japanese style fried chicken. And then we were there for a couple hours too. And then one of the guides came as well, and luckily the woman felt way better after she came because the guide spoke Japanese. But no, like it was super fun. And then we we drank up amount of which was like 3 or 4 bottles. And then we drank like 4 or 5 more bottles of the other stuff. So we were pretty hammered. And so then we left there. We left, and so we all split the bill, which ended up being like 1,200 yen a person. So like
that's not that too bad.
It's
because that translates to what,
about $11
a person for that much booze.
Yeah, for that much booze and how much food we had too. It's like it was really cheap, like compared to like once we split everything, and so like if I were to do that here.
Everybody would probably put in at least a good $50.
Yeah, like for the amount of food and booze we had, which would have been about $50 if we did it here in the States. And so but then we had so we probably shouldn't have done this. We probably should have split the coins up and gotten just the bills. But we had a mountain of coins.
Oh no!
Because so how the Japanese notes work? It goes 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, and everything below that's coins. We got the exact amount of change because you can't tip. Because normally just leave it, just tip it.
Yeah.
No, you don't tip in Japan, which became super fantastic because the bill was the bill.
Yeah.
And how you pay for it is you go up to the counter and you hand them the money, and then they give you change. We paid an exact change, but we should have gone over and just gotten change back. So we just dropped this mountain of change.
Oh, poor woman.
Her son was there too, luckily helping her. The son's face when we dropped the amount of coins was priceless. He's like, oh! And we were like, bye, we just got out. And we never went back. But yeah, so that became a thing we did 9 times.
Oh gosh.
In a row.
I'd be dying by like the 3rd night.
So that was the first night and first day. The second day we went to where did we go? Oh, okay. So the next day was we were heading to Ikebukuro. No, not Ikebukuro. We're heading to. Damn, where are we heading to? Oh, Odaiba. Okay. So the next day was Odaiba, which is a. Really, is that what it is? Oh, okay. So the first part we headed to was actually Asakusa, which there's a actual shrine there and tons of shops, and we got there actually a little bit too early. The time, so this is Tuesday now, and we got there too early, and it was raining. Which was also a recurring thing that happened. It rained quite a bit while we were there, which sucked. But on the days where we needed it to be nice, it was nice. And so we headed up. So basically, like, we would like get off, and like there was this giant gate like right away of like, right outside right outside our exit from the station, and we. And then, like, we're allowed to explore for a bit. Like, we were given, like, 30, 40 minutes to explore around. And I was taking tons of pictures. Not many of the shops were actually open, and so a lot of them had the shutters gate closed, but all of them had different murals on them. Whoops. And they were all really, really pretty, and I felt weird taking pictures of them because I felt like a tourist.
Well, you were.
I was, but yeah. After a while, I had to embrace that.
Yeah.
But, so was spawning on there. There's actually a temple right there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually go up to it because it took me so long to get from the first gate
Mm-hmm.
to the second gate, because it was a very long, like about 1.14 for 1.5 football fields long.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like it was really long. Like it took like 5 minutes just like normal walking just to get from one end to the other. And so like, but it was like I just taking tons of pictures there. And then I headed back, and then we met up, and then we went off to Mr. Donut. Which at the time they were doing a promotion where if you bought 5 donuts you got a bento box. I bought 3 because I could not eat 5. But the donuts were really good. They were seasonal donuts. Some of the ones I got, and those are really, really good. We then went and got melon pawn.
So you finally got to eat the legendary melon pawn that you see all the time in anime.
Yeah. And not just any melon pawn. This random guy in Alley's melon pawn. It is by far one of the most delicious breads I've ever eaten in my entire life. It's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The crust on it was crispy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just super, super delicious, and that was my breakfast.
Nice.
And so that was super fun. And so that was that thing, and then we hopped on to the Hotel Luna ride. I don't know if I said that right at all, but they're boats that were designed by Leiji Matsumoto, which, if I'm remembering correctly, he was a designer on what's it called? It's a show from the 70s in space. Oh shit! No, I had it, but I lost it now. Oh, Space Odyssey. No, they're remaking it. It's like Space Yamamoto 2099 or something like that. He designed these boats. He also designed all of the spacecrafts in that anime.
Oh.
And so these boats were kind of futuristic looking in terms from the 70s. But they're really nice, like very open, and where people could get mojitos, and a bunch of people did. Yeah, drinking was a major theme on this trip for people. It
should be.
Yeah, and so this is where we headed to Odaiba, which is it's a 30-minute boat ride from where we were, and you can get there by train as well. I don't know how long that takes, but this area is mainly like, again, because of the war. It's like a lot of it links back to the war and trying to draw in Westerners who were there for the post-war Reconstruction. And so they built this gigantic fucking shopping mall there. And that's where we went. And it's pretty big. And it actually has the largest arcade in Japan there.
Oh.
And so I tried my hand at a few things there. Didn't win anything. Fucking Love Live figure. So yeah, so then like there's a bunch of other shops. And also there's the Gundam front that was there. 2 weeks after we were there, they closed it. Nice. But this was actually really cool because they had a life size. This is also where the actual Gundam statue used to be, which are now putting up the Gundam unicorn one. But inside of the Gundam front, like they have like different little like displays where you take pictures next to like different characters and stuff like that, and also dress up in their outfits. But you can also go on top of a Gundam. They had just the top part of the Strike Gundam, which if you actually look behind you, that's what it looks like. Oh god! So they just had the top part, and that's the Build Strike one. This is the actual Strike Gundam. They also had the I forget what it's called, but it's like I think it's called like the personal module or something like that. Where it's, if you've ever seen Gundam, this module folds up, and then they got the top half the Gundam 6 on, and the bottom half 6 onto that. And so if you blow up the top half, you can eject it off, and then the person can safely eject from the Gundam. It's like basically a safety measure and stuff like that. And so they had one of those as well. When it was opened up and like destroyed and stuff like that. You can take pictures of all that stuff. But the best part, and mine is by far, is that you could actually color in your own Gundam box. So we spent like a bunch of time and just huddle over, like taking markers and poorly coloring it. Mine looks like a child did it. Evan had his be a pink Gundam, and that was super fun to see him do that. And then, like, kind of for free, I actually bought a gift for my dad. I got him some chopsticks, like a personal set of chopsticks. They were 1,000 yen, which is pretty typical for when I saw it. There was actually ones that were 22,000 yen. I'm like, you don't need that one. Yeah. Why is there jewels in it? It's too fancy. So I just bought him some simple, dark brown chopsticks that are really nice looking, and he enjoyed them. But then after that is when we headed to Ikebukuro. If you've ever seen the anime Durarara, this takes place there. Okay. And this is where the Pokemon Center is in Tokyo. We actually went there. It's really big and really cool and really loud. But also at this point, this is also where the Evangelion store is. And this is also the first time I've ever experienced how different, because of the space problem, the different solutions that they come up with. And so we were told where the Evangelion store was. We were basically brought up to, like, hey, you see that building's in their third floor. And so we get into the elevator, we get off, and it opens up, and like, this is not, like, you know, generally for a mall here or shopping center, you have like a walkway and then you have shops along that walkway. They did not have that. The entire floor was like, had like maybe a strip about like maybe 3 feet wide, and that was what divided you between different stores. Like, they were all right there in front of you, and so you had to walk through this, and then the Evangelion store is this like small little section there, and they have items that are exclusive to that store. They had a bunch of other things as well there. But they had like exclusive T-shirts, exclusive pins, like cases, like money, like coin purses and stuff like that. They also, and this is what I bought, they also had the original. I bought a T-shirt as well that has Asuka's hat on it from 3.33. So I like that hat.
Did they actually have the hat for sale?
No, they didn't have the hat for sale. But no, they had they also had the storyboards for sale, as well as the a booklet called The Groundworks, which is, I got the first one. I didn't see the second one there, but the first one is all of the keyframes, the corrected frames from it, CG layouts, chronological order for every single bit of animation. It's that thick for half the movie.
How thick would you say that is? Well, for our ones listening to people,
but it's also right behind you. It's about like half an inch thick. Yeah. Like there's no words or anything like that. It's just the animation material. So if you want to, if you might be able to look up like pictures of it online, but it's how the animation is created, and it's really cool to flip through it. Like, hey, like, I want to know like how this scene like turned out differently, or like what the original drawing looked like before it got corrected. And so you can actually see the corrections in it. You can see, here's what the animation director or the chief animation director, depending on who checked it, was looking at, and how they changed it to have it be more cohesive, but still keep the animator's own style with it as well. And it's super cool to see that. And also, especially how they do CG layouts over 2D, and that was actually super cool as well. But I also got Evangelion shot glasses because I could, and a few other things, and one other thing I can't remember, and then the T-shirt. And so, but that put me over the duty free mark, and I'm like, sure, I won't pay taxes. So in this actually process took a while, and if you actually do it, it's not. I recommend it if you're able to do it. Try to hit those duty-free markers. They're generally about 5,000 yen.
Now, what are duty-free markers?
So duty-free markers, basically, you spend this much money, we don't tax you because you're a foreigner.
Oh.
Yeah. And so what you do is, what you need in order to do it, one, look like a foreigner.
That's easy for you.
Yeah.
And me.
And you. Yeah, it's the same. Like, you're in Japan. Everyone is a foreigner. And on your passport. And so what they do is that they write down the cost, they write down your passport number, they write down your name, they have you sign it. Then they take the things of paper, they keep one, and then they take one of the sheets, they then tape it or staple it into your passport, and then they stamp it. And if you actually look at my passport, I can actually show you the stamp markers because they stamp half of it onto the piece of paper and half it onto your passport. This is because when you leave Japan, you have to hand it to someone who then rips it out and then hands it back. And that's how you're able to get by without paying taxes in Japan.
Huh.
For like specific items and stuff like that. I did it twice. The second I hit the marker one other time, but the guy just didn't do it because it's kind of a hassle.
Yeah.
Because it takes a while. And so I got those items, just kind of put in my backpack. And then we headed over to the Animate store there to see if they had any different goods, which I didn't see. So I didn't find any. Actually, I found something for my brother because they had different My Hero Academia stuff there. And then me and my roommate, who is from Guatemala, we were walking around like trying to find a Pokemon Center without successfully finding it.
Yeah. And
I'm like, dude, I've been walking around for 3 days. I need to sit. Let's go to find a cafe. So we only spent 20 minutes finding a cafe. One, because we had to find one that had space.
Yeah.
Because it was Ikebukuro was super busy. And so we finally found one, and we order our stuff, and we sit down right by the window. I just put my feet up. I can feel my feet pulsating because I'd been on them all day. I'd been on them all day for 3 days straight. And so like my feet were just pulsating. We just sat there for like 45 minutes just waiting for my feet to die down. And then we headed over and we actually found the Pokemon Center. And I didn't buy anything there. He did because it's for his niece and nephew. But I went to the gachapon machines and I got a couple of gachapons for some people. But so that was Ikebukuro. It's like it's one of the other major shopping centers there in Japan. There's also where Swallowtail is, and Swallowtail is a butler cafe.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you it's a butler host club. That's how I would really describe it. And from the experience, I was told by other people I should have gone.
Oh, you had the option to go there?
Yeah, it was an option. It was an extra option. And it was a little bit expensive. From what I heard, it was also pretty expensive to go there as well. But the food was also pretty good. So the next day was a free day. This is one of the extra excursions I did, which is Mount Nokogiri. And this is the first time I noticed how the city in Tokyo just never ends. So we hopped on a train to go south. We went south. We went 30 minutes south of Tokyo. Of Oimachi, where we were staying, and it ended up being that we never saw a break from the city the entire way. It was buildings the entire way we were going on that train. And when we were sitting on the train, one of the guys busted out his DS he was playing, and then a Japanese guy got on the train, hopped down, and he was like, "Oh, let's do and he pulled out his 3DS, put it in attachment, and started playing Monster Hunter Double Cross.
That's so good. That's so good. That's like one of those things you imagine would happen. Like you hope something like a situation like that would happen here, just randomly on the street.
Yeah,
and that blows my mind that actually happened, because that's one of those things you see on the commercials. Yeah, and you're like, oh, that'd be cool. That'll never happen. No,
like it actually, he just pulled out his 3DS, pulled out the extra joystick attachment, attached it to it, and just popped it open, and started playing Monster Hunter. I'm like, holy shit! That was the first time I ever seen someone actually playing a 3DS that wasn't part of our group. It was the only time we saw that. However, people were definitely had 3DSs. So I was constantly getting street passes from them and stuff like that. I had to find my 3DS, so I don't know where it is, but I can show you. So we took this all the way to where are we? The KQ? Yeah, the KQ Kurihama. This is the place. I don't know if that's the actual name of the city, but it's the place where General Perry landed in Tokyo Bay. This is like in the 1850s. When at the time the shogunate still ran Japan, and Matthew Perry came in with his big gunboat and fired his cannons and said, "Open up." He forced them to open up, and because of his actions, started a civil war which then the Meiji one, which it was then ruled by the Meiji Emperor, who then that in that era of Japan was what was involved in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, history lessons.
Yay!
So this is where he was, and in this place you can get Matthew Perry chocolate. There's also a mural of Matthew Perry with Godzilla.
What?
Yeah. I have a picture somewhere on my phone, like you can barely see it, but there's this mural. I think he's in Matthew Perry's on a boat or something, and Godzilla's in the background. It's
what
super
the heck?
weird. It's super weird. But then we hopped on a ferry to head across Tokyo Bay. So now we're south and we're actually on a peninsula. And then we're crossing the bay going east to southeast across the bay to a different peninsula, and that's where Mount Nokogiri is. And this is the first time I actually got a break from the endless city, and so we headed up to this really tiny fishing village. It does not say what the name of it is. So we went to this place called The Fish for lunch, and we had a seaside view. We had a view of the bay and stuff like that while we were eating and stuff like that. And I had a fried eel don, which if you've ever seen Food Wars, there's a part where they're fighting, like where the don club is fighting with the meat girl and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That if you imagine that bowl, that's what I had. It was basically meat and then rice. And then also I had just also miso soup and a few other things. I'm like, that looks weird. But yeah, that was really good. The eel was really great. And then we walked over to the lift, which we weren't able to get on because there was actually kind of high winds. Mm-hmm. So the lift was closed. And so we had to wait for a while. But after that, we were able to actually finally get onto the lift to go up the mountain. There's actually a Buddhist temple there. We weren't actually able to see the temple because it was under reconstruction. Mm-hmm. This area was actually a quarry in the 1930s, and then it kind of got converted over to a Buddhist temple. At least that's what I think. It might be older than that. Mm-hmm. But while we're walking around, there's tons. It's a maze of stairs and stuff like that, and there's actually these if you're just walking down, all of a sudden there'll be this natural hole in the wall, and there'll be just tons of tiny statues there, everywhere. Mm-hmm. And just walking around, you just turn a corner, just more of them and stuff like that. And also, this place is home to the world's largest sitting Buddha. It is 80 feet high.
Oh wow!
It is absolutely enormous. It is huge. It is so big. Mm-hmm. And that was one of and so that's what basically kind of the time there was. And that was I loved it. Mm-hmm. So we got to walk around and basically this big wooded area and see this incredible view of Tokyo Bay and surrounding mountain area. That was super fun. Mm-hmm. And then, and then we headed back up from the bottom of the goddamn mountain to the middle of the goddamn mountain. Mm-hmm. Because that's how many freaking stairs there were. We just did it in one go. And at this time, when we were just walking up, one of them was yelling about how she is going to kill the guide because there's stairs. Literally yelling, I'm gonna fucking kill you! It's at the top of her lungs. He's it'll be fine. But no, there was this family walking up with us, mm-hmm. and this girl just bolting up the stairs, and then I think I don't know if the mother did it in English or said it in English or in Japanese, but because I would have understood both.
Yeah.
Which was are you okay? She's no, I'm not. and then so I just because I'm trying to get up the stairs myself, walking up there, mm-hmm. and I go past her, and then she just kind of runs up some more. I'm not okay, my ass. And so then we finally get to the the spot where we're supposed to meet. And then like we're just kind of just standing there, like playing like the Rocky theme for people who are trying to come up the stairs. And then the girl just kind of comes up to me and then says something in Japanese, and one of the guides goes, she's asking if she could hug you. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, sure. So she hugs me, and then she would not let go.
Aww.
So I was like, kind of like, okay, like, so I kind of like let go, like,
trying to figure out, like, give her the
like, how do I say? Like, I know the American way of doing it is just tap, tap, tap on the back. Like, and that's a signal to, like, hey, let go, tap, tap, tap.
Aw, someone had a crush on
kind of. And so I did
Jay.
that.
Edit that part out. Crap.
Yeah.
Someone had a crush on Jay.
Yeah, Jay. So we did, and so, like, she just wouldn't let go. Like, for a while, too. And she finally let go. I'm like, okay. And so I'm just kind of like this, and they're like, and guys are making fun of me, and then like, but then all of a sudden she just grabs me from behind, and now I really don't know what to do, because I'm like, so like I put my hands up like this. I'm like, put my hands up like I'm like, I'm not touching anything inappropriate. I am innocent. I really didn't know what to do, but apparently they were she was walking around later on just muttering in Japanese, I hugged him.
Aww.
Yeah, she was like 14.
Aww.
And so
that sucks for you.
Yeah. So the joke was that she's going to be waiting at the airport 5 years later for me to come back.
You should have told her I'll be back.
Yeah, but it was funny because but the mother spoke Japanese. I'm sorry, not Japanese. Yeah, obviously she spoke Japanese. She spoke English really well too. And so we got to talk to her about some things, and she was like, yeah, I'm really happy you guys are here because like, I like seeing tourists. Because they're not changed. they're not like, because the people who've lived here, they change, they kind of like get used to living here and the way people act and start to emulate that. She's like, but you guys aren't like that at all. You're just you. And it's perfect. I'm like, oh, like that's kind of cool. And she's like, yeah, I've been trying to get her to like learn English. We got this all along. I'm like, and one of the guys joked to me, she's like, now she probably will.
You need to start carrying photos of yourself.
No, I'm not carrying photos of myself.
Then just hand it to the random 14-year-old Japanese girl.
God damn you. And so then after that, I also forgot to mention, as well as the night before this, we went out to, as a bigger group, which it was a really bad idea, like 11 people. We were trying to find like a bar to go to. We ended up going to a bar that other people had gone to as well. One of the bars that were like kind of like you see for like in anime, actually, like where like it's closed off, like they're drinking, like, but like think of Golden Time, you know, like, like when they have like the club bar in the first episode, we were there. So we went at one of those, and we again. Tons of food, tons of drinks. I took a picture. We must have gone. We went through like at least like I don't know 10 bottles of sake, a whole bottle of cognac, and a bunch of beer too.
Oh my gosh!
All this before climbing the mountain.
Oh.
the next mornings before we did that, and also when we got back from climbing Mount Okagiri, we also went out drinking again. Yeah. We weren't very smart.
Yeah, what day was that then?
So this was Wednesday.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you do a lot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably we should just cut it off for now since we're like almost 2 hours in.
Oh, dear God, yeah. We probably have to do that, yeah. I didn't realize we were that long.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while, so we'll just briefly cut this off just for now, because I know this is going to be a multiple-part series of your entire trip to Japan.
Yeah.
So for now, we'll just cut it off for now.
Yeah.
And I thank you so much, Jay, for going to Japan, because it makes me excited for when me and the missus eventually go to Japan.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Like, I was a little hesitant. It's always a little,
Yeah.
I guess, overwhelming when you start planning a trip overseas.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been to a foreign country in North America. I guess that's pretty much it. It's not overseas. I've been to Guatemala many times.
Yeah.
It's very overwhelming and whatnot, and especially when you're literally going overseas to a different time zone, planning that, it can be a little overwhelming too. But finally, having someone who's been on the tour and doing the thing we want to makes me and my wife really excited to eventually do this.
Yeah, because to be honest, like, everything was dealt with for us. The only thing that we had to do was decide exactly where we wanted to go, at the places we were at.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that we had to actually decide and deal with. And also, like, going through this trip, like, at one point we were actually, like, there's a problem with the bus we were taking for the day. We did not know there was a problem the whole time, because to us it didn't seem like anything was wrong. But we found out later that night when we were drinking in someone's room that the Evan was there. Was like, yeah, I was actually yelling at the bus company today. like he said, like, yeah, people were videotaping me. I was yelling so loudly at them. I'm like, oh wow. Yeah. He said, like, yeah. So he said, what do you say? It's like, yeah, someone was trying to royally fuck us over. Like,
So really well maintained company for
yeah,
because I think it's still kind of relatively new, the company.
it's like 5 years old.
It's still pretty young. But
Yeah, I think it was like
Yeah.
2011 is the first.
we'll post a link to the company website in the description. We'll definitely tag them, and when this gets posted on Facebook, so they get the well-deserved attention that they deserve. But you'll find all the information on there. I've looked on there. If you plan on going, obviously book ahead of time. On the very final episode of Jay's amazing trip to Japan, he'll give us some tips of what to do for this trip.
Yeah.
But that'll be at the end. So this is the end of part 1.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. You can find us on Facebook at Tiger Anime 2.0, as well as Twitter at Tiger Anime 2.0. If you want to download us, you can download us off on the iTunes. If you don't like iTunes, I know some people just really don't like iTunes. We're also on Google Play and Stitcher, as well as we're located on the Libsyn app, because that's where we host our stuff.
Yep.
Yay! You can also email us at tigeranime 2.0 at gmail.com. Once again, that's tigeranime 2.0 at gmail.com. Send us questions, comments, concerns, whatever. If you have a recommended anime you want, send it to us. If you have a terrible anime that you know someone's going to hate, tag me in it. Anyways, thank you once again, Jay, and
No problem.
can't wait to hear the rest of the story.
1, 2.
Also, so once again, this is Arash.
5, 6, 7, 8 more days.
He has 8 more days to cover.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Arash.
I am Jay.
And this is Tiger Anime signing off. You have a good one.
Bye.